Hi.
Well, my name is Dennis McCoy, pro BMX rider for Haro, longtime rider for Haro if you go all the way back to 1984 when I first joined the team. And I'm in Guangzhou right now to do Haro promotions actually. I love China. I think this would be my 9th trip, if I'm not mistaken. 7 times to Shanghai and twice to Beijing. And I love it. Every time there's an opportunity to make it to China, I jump on that opportunity. It's Shanghai in particular, wonderful city. And what I've seen of Guangzhou so far, I love it as well. Yeah, I learned that yesterday, that Guangzhou is sort of where BMX kind of came to be in China. And the hope with things like me paying a visit and Haro expanding in ways that they expand is to really blow BMX up even more. Well, I mean, whenever you're asked when you started riding BMX, it's difficult for me to answer because when I started riding, we didn't really know it as BMX yet. I mean, I'm so old, it was 1971 when I first got on a bike. And yeah, I was, riding wheelies and jumping curbs, and then we found trails and we rode street. So all throughout the 70s, I was a kid growing up on my BMX bike. And then in the summer of 1980, I raced my first official BMX race. And from that day on, every single day has been involving BMX in some way. I'm either on my bike riding or healing from an injury from riding or on a plane to take a trip to or from riding. And well, I mean, I've always loved riding my bike, so there's never been a reason to say, let's stop now. I mean, I fell into this in terms of earning a living riding a bike. I was a serious student in high school. I had, scholarships to go get an engineering degree. And then I met Bob Haro in the summer of 1984, and he asked to sponsor me and send me to a contest. And then just overnight, sort of my life started to change. And before you knew it, you were traveling to places like San Diego and San Francisco, and then eventually London and Germany, and now Shanghai and Guangzhou, and you name it. So when you have the opportunity to travel the world doing what you love, like riding a bicycle, and make a living, pay the bills by doing that, you'd have to be a fool to say, let's put an end to this. Well, when you say influential, realize again, like I started so long ago, that certain people that have an effect on my life or my riding, maybe I was sponsored and in the public eye before them. But going way back to Bob Haro, I mean, he was the one that started this stuff. Came out with the very first freestyle bike. And I saw him perform a show in 1983, but I didn't speak with him. And then in 1984, when he came to Kansas City again, my friends had him watch me ride, and from there. So he's obviously, Bob Haro's had a big impact on my life because he's the first one to sponsor me. And then beyond that, just friends, like close friends that are younger than me. But I met Matt Hoffman when he was a teenager, and he wasn't sponsored, and I tried to get him on Haro way back in 1986, but he got snatched up by Skyway, and eventually he came around and rode for Haro. Same goes with Dave Mira. He's 7 years younger than me. And I met him when he was like a 12-year-old kid and a fan of mine. But I'm very close friends with those two individuals. And, the three of us have obviously stayed in BMX for years and have invented many tricks and traveled and done many shows and contests together. So those are two names I've mentioned as just close friends that we've influenced each other. One other thing I would add is try to ride everything. Many riders nowadays choose to specialize. For me, the first thing that really got me noticed was flatland riding, but I was a ramp rider back then too. We used to have what was called the overall category, where your scores from flatland and ramp would be combined and there'd be an overall champion. And that was where I excelled because I was proficient at both. But I think that's why I'm still sitting here today in Guangzhou doing this interview, because when you don't focus on just one thing, you're less likely to get bored. Maybe 1 week it's all flatland for you, then maybe you just want to go ride street for a couple weeks on end, and then maybe there's the perfect vert ramp. So I would just tell kids getting into BMX nowadays is don't be too trendy or get involved in cliques to where you think this type of riding is where it's at and everything else sucks, because that's just cheating yourself. There's too much about BMX to love. Well, it would be nice if there were more skate parks. It was, from what I understand, Hong Kong, there are many skate parks accessible, but or 3 from what you're telling me. So hey, that's a start. But in a city of a country of 1.3 billion Chinese, there's been much talk over the years of China and how the economy is growing, and it's the sleeping giant awakens, is how they say it in America. That needs to happen with BMX too, because there are so many people in this country, but so many kids that need something fun and entertaining to do. And with 4 times, 5 times the population of America, it's just a prime place for BMX to explode in a really big way. If there were more places for people to do this, then that would be great for everybody. And alongside with that goes competitions. I mean, the Asian X Games, and now it's it's now under a different name, but that happening each year is a big event in Shanghai. And I would love to get involved. I run events back in America. I've run events now for 14 years with our production company, McCoy Productions. Gravity Games, invents Triple Crowns, and designed every Dew Tour course and all of these things that are on NBC television. Well, from what I understand, there is going to be the first Chinese Haro team starting real soon here in Guangdong province. And a few riders, 3 riders so far selected, and the team will expand up to as many as 8 guys, and that's big news to know that, and that province is just the start. I mean, China's a big place. The Great Wall isn't 3,000 and something miles long for nothing. It's a big country with many, many people, and Haro's gonna do their part to blow up BMX big in China.
Since I don't speak Chinese, I don't understand what's being said. I don't really can't follow instructions and I don't understand, so I don't really know what to do. I've always wanted to hang flags through China because you see pictures of China when I was a child. Everyone on bicycles. People going to work on bicycles, and I always think it's fun to